It's hard to educate a child, and even harder to educate thousands depending on you. Education is not mugging up books. Education is a rigorous discipline. Education is a commitment. Even before you come to class to teach, you help your child with their homework. You send your child to school, and then you get ready to face your own battles. One person, multiple roles, and you strive to do each of them justice. You may not be the best, but you give them the best you know. So don't give up now. Don't give up ever. Give yourself some time and credit. Be you every single day. Be you because nobody can be you better.
Hey students, this is Ambika, Master Teacher of Biology at Vedantu. Now quite often we wonder, right, when we have to make timetables, we end up making beautiful timetables very successfully, but then the challenge comes when we really have to stick on to them. Well, now that we don't have the time for any more such experiments because exams are just around the corner, about 30-40 days away from today, let me just give you a list of very simple do's and don'ts that you would like to keep in mind that you can certainly follow so that you can make your own customized, personalized timetable. Okay, so let's get started. I'll get started with the list of do's first. Okay, this is probably something that you already know, but I would just like to act like a reminder to you so that at this point of time, all this is coming in very handy and get started because as I said, no more time to waste, right? So yes, do number one, when you make a timetable, make sure you give enough time for 4 different things, which are study, sleep, meals, and leisure time, okay? All these 4 are equally very important. As a student, I have committed the mistake of, being over ambitious and allotting too much time to studies and then compromising on my sleep, on my meal breaks, and just giving up everything else that I like doing. But then that has never had much of a positive effect. So with that experience, I would like to tell you, make sure you have enough time for all of these 4 aspects, which are very important. Okay, so that is point number 1. But then how much time you want for each of them is something that you must decide because you know yourself best. You have to respect your own body rhythm. You know your strengths and weaknesses best. So the best idea is not to copy someone else's timetable. But of course, if you have no idea on where to get started, you can certainly go back and watch one of my previous videos on an ideal timetable for a student during study holidays. But if that doesn't work for you, just follow this tip and get started with your timetable, okay? So I would like to add a sub point here. Plan your study hours in your timetable such that it's an hour of the day when you will have minimal distractions, minimal noise from your family, friends, minimal distraction from your phone, minimal distraction from any outside noise. So it could be either early in the morning or late into the night or any other time of the day that you find peaceful and comfortable so that you can just sit in silence and focus only on studies, okay? So this needn't be 4-5 hours at a stretch. It can also be 1 hour or 2 hours spread out during different times of the day. This is completely up to you to decide. Now, my second tip is for those of you children who have been sending me a lot of messages saying, ma'am, I come home very late after school. I reach home by 5:30 or 6:30 for some of you. Well, I would say some schools these days do have such weird schedules, but we can't help it, right? We have to respect the school's timetable, the school's timings. So what do? By the time you're back home, it's quite likely that you feel very lethargic. You're too tired to take up any studies more. So my suggestion to you children is do not overstress. Come home, do whatever important homework that you have to complete, have an early dinner and go to bed. And if you can manage to wake up very early in the morning, say around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., whatever works for you, that is the time when you can use about 2-3 hours at a stretch to sit down and study. But for those of you who are fortunate enough, like I was, if you're studying in a school where they give you a complete 1 month or 2 months of study holidays and you have to go to school only to write your pre-boards and go to collect your papers, Absolutely great, because you have the entire day with you, wherein you can just plan it out according to your convenience and plan out your study sessions accordingly. Okay, so whatever your day is like, whether it's a school day or whether it's a complete up to you day, you can decide your day according to that, keeping in mind these 4 things. Okay, once again, study, sleep, leisure and meals. All 4 very, very important. Okay, now the next tip that I'm going to tell you, I think I've told you this earlier in one of my earlier videos, but again, in a timetable, it's very, very important to keep in mind, and a very, very powerful weapon. What am I talking about? Use small pockets of time. Well, there may be times during the day when, even if you are at school until 5-6 p.m. in the evening, there will certainly be times during the day when you get around 10 minutes of break or 5 minutes of break, or even 2 minutes for that matter. Okay, make sure you use even those pockets of time wisely. And this is why I keep telling you, carry around a small pocket notebook handy so that you can have a look at it, wherein you have a list of all your important concepts, your important formulae, equations, theorems, whatever it is that you must certainly remember during your exams. Just go through those pages whenever you have some time. Even if not in school, when you're waiting for the bus, waiting for the metro train, or waiting for a friend somewhere, use a little bit of time, because like I said, now we are just a few days away from your final exams. So every single second counts, every single minute counts. Okay, so you may appear a bit nerdy, but that doesn't matter. What others say about you doesn't matter at this point of time. It can go a long way in getting you to revise and complete your studies and revision a lot in advance. Trust me on this. Okay, the last do that I want to tell you is, remember to be flexible. Do not overstress, because there may be times during the day, during the week, when you may feel a little sick, you may be a little tired than you normally are. That is completely okay. But if you're talking about laziness, sheer laziness, and you don't want to follow your schedule, then you're going to get a big spanking from teachers like me. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those days when you're genuinely feeling sick. It can definitely happen, so make space for all that also. So I would suggest keep at least 10 days of buffer time. Do not plan your timetable in such a manner that you're studying until the very last day. At least have about 10 days of buffer time before your exam, so that that can be well compensated for. Okay, so these are my set of do's. So coming to my set of don'ts, what should you not do when you are creating a timetable? Most importantly, don't wait for the right moment. Well, this happens very often with a lot of adults also. With me also, it's happened quite a lot of times. We wait for that perfect, that perfect auspicious time, or whatever perfect moment it is, to get started. But now, as I said, every second is precious, every minute is precious. Whenever it is that you feel you have to get started, there you go. That is the right moment to get started. As they say, the age-old saying goes, there is no wrong time to do the right thing. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't wait for the right moment to get started. Secondly, do not copy another person's timetable. Never ever do that, okay? Because everyone is different, everyone is unique. Your strengths and weaknesses are different. Your sleep schedules, your eating schedules, everything is different. So do not attempt to copy, paste another person's schedule. Okay, and the last don't, definitely something that I've indirectly told you at the start of this video. Do not give extra study time during the day, thinking that you will compensate for it by cutting down on your number of sleep hours. Okay, that is a huge no, because you need at least 6 to 7 hours, I would say, is the minimum number of hours that you need to sleep, so that your brain is able to recall everything that you have learned. Okay, so there we go, the list of do's and don'ts that you must keep in mind in order to create your own customized and personal study timetable for the last 30 days before your exam. If you would love to add anything more to this, please feel free to post it in the comment section below or send me an email. Until we meet again, this is Ambika signing off. Bye-bye.